Welcome to Latinos in Michigan TV. I'm your host, Liliana Ospina Herbset. And today I have a special guest. Her name is Millie Chu, a woman I met a few years ago. And when I met her, a friend of mine told me that she is a person that is always helping small businesses. She's a woman that is always promoting entrepreneurs. And over the years, I'm always fascinated with all the stuff she does to educate immigrants and small business owners so they can be more successful with their businesses. So we are very happy to talk to her and welcome Millie Chu. Thank you for your time.
We at Global Entrepreneurship Business Lab, our work is crucial because it really helps communities thrive. So we transform communities by building inclusive entrepreneurship programs and also strengthening workforce development through a diversity lens. So our work spans throughout Michigan, across the United States, and also in emerging economies worldwide to help communities thrive and empower their people. So how we do it is that we create customized programs and also implement training and strategies to build inclusive entrepreneurship and workforce programs that create pathways towards race equity, social and economic justice to benefit specifically people of color and those who are from underserved populations. And why this work is so important to us is that I myself, come from an immigrant family. We came here decades ago with nothing much more than the clothes on our backs and a few dollars in our pockets. And I was a child at that time. And I saw how my parents really struggled in the United States because they didn't speak English. They don't have a U.S. educated background. They have, no financial security, no collateral, and to try to apply for loans, because that's often what funders ask for, and no credit history, right? And having a hard time going through the system and trying to find a job. It was hard for folks like us to find work, here coming from that type of background. So entrepreneurship became one of the avenues to what my parents could do. So that's why we started our own business. And at that time, as I said, I was a young child. So I did the translations for my parents, and they decided to start their own food business. So myself and also my siblings, I have an older sister and younger brother. So they helped in the ways that they could contribute as well. But, translating, the legal documents or setting up bookkeeping and accounting, for my parents who struggled with the English language, and people struggled to understand who they are. And, they built their businesses from the ground up. So there were basically four walls, and then everything else was built inside of it, and all of the fixtures, electrical, everything. So we spoke with contractors, and, and of course, as a child, I didn't know what I was saying per se. I was just following whatever my parents wanted me to say, and translating between two parties. But along the way, I learned how to do business just because I was forced to do it. I learned through fire, and helped my parents to create this business. So it wasn't easy. It was really hard to do. Because there's many barriers, and so, but they saved up enough money to actually open it on their own. And, I saw how they struggled and the blood, sweat, and tears that they put into it. Growing up, that I saw this as a common problem between underserved communities and immigrants who come to this country. So I wanted to be a solution somehow. Didn't know exactly how or which way at that point when I was younger, but I ended up devoting my life to education, to economic development, and also inclusion. And so anyhow, now, why I do what I do is because I want to help people and families like mine that started from nothing and then to work work from the ground up to build a livelihood for yourself and your families. So that's why Global Entrepreneurship Business Lab exists, because we truly understand the core and struggles and systemic barriers that are involved being a minority here in the United States, and not coming from privilege. So so we hope to be a part of the solution to really strengthen equity in for small businesses and families who been through or are going through what my family gone through as well. Thanks for that question.
It's fascinating because you mentioned that you saw the struggles, and I remember a few years ago I used to live in Battle Creek, and there was this a family from China, and they had a restaurant, and the parents were always cooking, but they had their little girl
Yeah,
translating and writing the orders. So I can see you doing that with your siblings, and
yeah,
I was so amazed by the discipline. She was so mature, you know, because other children are playing, but she was just focused helping the parents, and it was oh my god, it was the best Chinese food. It was delicious.
yeah, absolutely. You actually painted a picture of that's very similar to the situation my family was in and myself. So my mom, she sort of learned how to the phrases that was necessary to be on what we call the front of the house, right, for restaurant businesses. And my dad was always working in the kitchen in the back of the house. So, but I was that kid that was in the dining area. I started when I was 11 years old. So people were probably wondering at that time, what's this little kid doing in here? Taking food orders and cleaning tables. But that was me. And as I got a little bit older, I remember I think with 13 or 14 years old. That I started helping my mom with the bookkeeping, so that was, so kind of just like imagining that journey sort of helped me to go back in time a little bit about all of the things that, our family has gone through. But I was exactly that kid. On the weekends when my friends would, be excited for the weekend to go out to play with their friends or hang out with their friends. My schedule was to go to work. For a Saturday and Sunday, it was working at the family business. So, my childhood didn't really seem like most kids. It was very different. I don't think I had much of a childhood, but at the time I regretted it, or at the time I just didn't like it, I would say. But now I don't regret it, because it taught me a lot of discipline about what is important. And, I can still have fun as an adult, just like I did when I was a kid, right? So, but it was definitely, a very different type of experience for me than most children that were 11 years old.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I think that's why you are the successful woman you are today, and that's why you are so passionate about helping small businesses, minority businesses. Because you just know the struggles. And talking about struggles, when you are an entrepreneur, you make a lot of mistakes. What's the most common mistake you see, an entrepreneur makes?
Yeah, great question. There's, a lot of mistakes I see entrepreneurs make in general, but the ones that, that I see happen most common is that people kind of just jump into it without doing the necessary research. So that's a huge, broad area. But so research could be, understanding your legal obligations. And also, what your market looks like there. Is it the ideal area for you to open your business? Is that where your customers are going to find you easily? Are you set up the right way, as I said, from the legal standpoint, that you're protecting yourself from the liability standpoint, and also being able to operate, with a legal business name. Financials, one of the biggest issues that really hold businesses back or really cause them to close is lack of financial management as well. So are you really looking at your numbers in the way that you should be, or you are organizing your numbers? Do you know what your cash flow is? So it's really budgeting yourself and having good financial management. And I mentioned like the research is market, looking at your market. Who are your competitors? What does your industry look like right now, in the past, and the present, and also financial future, or also the forecast of how your industry is performing financially as well. So all of these factors and so much more contribute to really understanding the ecosystem and the industry of your business. So, and not just jumping into it from, the standpoint of, oh, I think a lot of people would love, what I'm here to offer. Well, that's just a guess or an assumption, but how can you back that up with validation, back that up with facts, back that up with research? So I think that first and foremost is the most important, is understanding your ecosystem, doing your market research, understanding your financials and your target market and your customers and your competitors. So that's a whole lot there, to put into it. But I think it is that homework that you do before you invest into starting your business, so you don't make the mistakes and having to pay for it later.
And that's a great advice, because many people, they just want it now and they jump and then they regret it.
Yeah.
And takes a lot of time to be an entrepreneur. I mean, you work more hours than a person with a regular job. It's more sacrifice. It's
Absolutely. What I see people also do first is actually the fun stuff, right? Which is nothing wrong with the fun stuff, but that can still be part of it later. But I feel people, I see a lot of folks like using a business name without researching if that business name is already taken, in your state or in your area. And then they start creating a website and printing business cards. And so, that's like that is all fun and great and necessary. It's wonderful to have a website so people know how to find you. And that's the first thing people do is when they hear about a new business, is whether they go online and see if you have your website or if you're somewhere on social media. So it's great to have that presence and that web presence, and it's essential. But really do all of that research first, so you know how to brand yourself, and also and if you can even use that name to create that website, and then starting printing out the business cards, and then start thinking about how you're going to market your business. So a lot of people, and I agree, it is more fun. I love like the creativity of designing website, designing logo, designing brands, designing your ad. That's fun, but do your research first before investing into that. Otherwise, that might just go to waste when you have to redo it.
Yeah, I agree with you. A lot of people, they just jump, and then it's like, oh, I print all this material and I can't use it because the name is taken, and
Yeah.
copyright,
Yeah.
infringement, and all that stuff. That is like, oh God. And you learn that, over the years. But when you're starting, you just want that thing now, and
Right.
that's the problem. Yeah.
Exactly. Mhm.
And Millie,
Mhm.
as an entrepreneur, as a businesswoman, what's the best advice you could give someone who wants to start a business? What could you tell them?
I would say access experts that know what you don't know, and so know who knows what you don't know, right? And so and that is to find mentors, coaches, teachers, whatever they may be called, that you can go to to get advice. And so if you're looking for, legal help, ask a trusted lawyer, that is experienced not just in law, but also the industry that you want to go into. So if you go to an attorney that is more practiced in like nonprofits, you want to make sure that that attorney specializes in nonprofits, or that attorney specializes in retail business or restaurants, because there's a lot of nuances that might be really helpful for you, for them to help you with that. Maybe they have that expertise in. So they can be, those service providers as well, that kind of helps you through that process. But as well as, maybe it is a life coach or a business coach that has the expertise, that have opened businesses before and had successful businesses before as well, that can help provide that guidance and that advice. So there's a lot of organizations out there that's called economic development organizations, or EDOs. So places like the Michigan Small Business Development Center, Michigan SBDC, they are amazing at helping small businesses, that whether you're at the startup stage or you're at the growth stage, and any industry that you might be in, they are free business consultants that you can access and meet with, that will help advise you throughout the stage and life cycle of your business. There's places like SCORE, and they are also free. They're retired professionals in their field, and they are also available to help you at no cost. So Entrepreneurship Center in Southeast Michigan at Washtenaw Community College, they have fantastic resources as well, and coaches and mentors there. So there are those different types of organizations out there that are there to help you. So take advantage of that, because if you are coming from a situation where you don't have a lot of money to pay a consultant, those organizations are no cost. So definitely tap into those and take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's great. And a lot of people don't know that those resources are free, and they pay consultants, and sometimes they can afford them. So thank you for sharing that information. And how can people contact your company, Millie?
Yeah, so I primarily work with clients who are in the public sector, or EDOs that I mentioned, or government or nonprofits. So I work in collaboration with these partners, where we can launch programs or initiatives or training that help to benefit underserved populations and people of color. But I'm also available, for one-on-ones as well. And because I am social impact for-profit company, people can contact me through my website and provide an idea in the contact me section on what they're looking for. I do offer a fee-based consulting as well. If you are in economic development organization or government organization, or in the public sector, or university and colleges as well, that we also work with those folks. Also, you can contact me through the website at www.globalbusinesslab.org, and send me a message there and provide me a better idea what you're looking for. And I'm happy to collaborate and be able to work together in creating a more inclusive economy.
Thank you, Millie. Thank you for this interview and what you do for the community.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it so much. And thank you for having me. And I also value the work Latinos in Michigan have been doing too. You have been such a great resource as well. And all of the work and dedication that you have put into it. And I just really admire all the things that you've been doing, Liliana, as well. So thank you.
Thank you.